Is muted. My bad, y'all. Hey, again, shalom, shalom. Happy Sabbath. This is Brother Donnie here,
Brother Xavier.
and today we are going into God family. So we did a Ezra 7 and 10 recap before, and that one was got milk. Because when you first come into the truth, you're a babe, and as a babe, the very first thing that you need is milk. Hey, my baby, Yaela and Judith, they love milk. Especially when Judith was a lot younger, she needed that milk, right? But now we're going into phase two, right? Especially with our congregation here. We as a congregation, we're about ready to do that phase two, that Colossians 3:13. Because hey, the elder said y'all got a test. Nah, I'm just playing. He ain't saying nothing like that. He don't. Hey, he just like y'all, just like how Christ get done. He like, hey, I don't know the time. The Father just tells me, are we doing this? And I'm just like, okay, cool. Hey, that's how I'm like. I don't know either. So but we're gonna do this Colossians 3:13 recap, and this is gonna be a two-part lesson because there's a lot to go into. This first part, we're not even really breaking into the plan. We are only going into like the first 4 scriptures in the plan, but that's just how deep, the concept of family is, the concept of unity. So before we go ahead and get into the lesson, we're going to go ahead and give shout out to the people that's in the lesson, and then we're going to pay homage to the sister that poured the ointment on the body of our Messiah. All right. So let's see who's in the lesson. Okay, Caden, I see you. Hey, put a 1 in the chat if you still here. Put a 1 in the chat if you still here. All right. Hey, shalom, brother Decarius. Yeah, what's good, Caden? Hey, we like seeing you here. We really do. We just need to see you stay on here. All right, Sister Lawalayim, you in the building, in the house. Shalom, shalom. All right, Sister Eulasia in the building, in the house. Shalom, shalom. And you do, as she said, make sure y'all like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's not even about, I don't like the Church of Louisville, or I'm not a part of the Church of Louisville. But hey, if you hear something out of the Church of Louisville that you're like, dang, that makes sense. That did come from God's mouth. That did come from the Bible. Hey, go ahead, share it, like it, support the mission, support the truth. Because at the end of the day, hey, the truth, Christ will be preached no matter what. So even if you do think, you might not like us, hey, if Christ is still being preached, hey, support the mission. Shalom, Sister Des. Happy Sabbath to you. Lord's will. You, Baby Ren, and Brother Quell are doing good on this Sabbath. Shalom, Sister Sarah in the building. Happy Sabbath to you. Shalom, my wife. Happy Sabbath. From the house of Donnie. Yeah, she's speaking for me. I'm still here. No, I'm just playing. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. Sister Yulia in the building. She said, Yulia 12. I'm part of the 12. She said, I'm not part of 7. No, I'm part of the 12. I'm part of the 12 tribes. I see you, sis. Shalom, Sister Tamaya. Happy Sabbath to you. Sister Kim, all the way in Hawaii. Happy Sabbath. Aloha. No, I'm playing. Shalom to you, sis. Yeah, Brother Quell, lion out of Zion. Happy Sabbath to you. For sure. Definitely a lion. We all lions out of Zion. And Lord's will, we can beat out 144. Happy Sabbath to you, bro. Sister Kayla, happy Sabbath to you. She said from Ezra and her, hey, shalom to both of y'all. Baby easy. All right, so let's go ahead and get Matthew 26:6, and we're gonna go ahead and pay homage to the sister.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 26 and verse 6. Now when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also that this woman hath done be told for a memorial of her.
Okay, so whenever we bring out this gospel, whenever we bring out the words of the Most High and His only begotten Son, you know, right before the lesson starts, we always make sure to pay homage to that sister that poured the ointment on the body of our Messiah, our King, the King of Kings, Jesus Christ. So let's go ahead and send up prayers to the Most High and His Son and get started on this lesson. Israel, blow trumpets. All praise and glory be to the Most High God, the God of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. Thank you, Father, for allowing us to gather today on your holy Sabbath day. Thank you for allowing us to gather today in your name and in the name of thy only begotten Son. Keep with the fringes on, with the no mixed fabrics on, with the no cooked food. Thank you, Father, for allowing us to gather in your regime. Thank you for allowing us to assemble, Father, because we know that we are a scattered people and we're scattered all throughout the earth. So please, Father, especially for those that are sick and shut in, I pray that you have your hand over them. And for those that have a desire, for those that have a will to want to seek you, to want to know you, please, Father, shine your light on them so that they may see what is good, so that they may see what is right and be healed and may be comforted by these law, statutes, and commandments that you gave us from the very beginning. And I ask, Father, that you give all of us here ears to hear and eyes to see so that we may see and hear the good gospel that you got for us. So on that I say all praise and glory be to the Most High God and thy only begotten Son, forever and ever. Amen. Amen. We'll do. All right. Okay. Hey, I see you, Caden. Okay, he said, hey, I just got back. I had to do something. I just want to let y'all know I was listening. You know, I see you, man. Hey, you know, stay with us because I know you especially, you know a lot about the scriptures because you was in that boot camp with me. You was in that dojo. So, you know, hey, welcome back to the dojo, you know. Welcome back. Hey, Shalom, Brother Judah. Hey, nice to see you. Happy Sabbath to you. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to get into the first scripture. It's going to be Deuteronomy 28 and 54.
Man, that sounds, man.
Hey, I just ripped the page of my Bible. That was an artery in my body that I just real talk. I'm bleeding out. Okay.
28, 54.
Yep.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Okay, so, you know, the very first thing I want to get is this curse right here. You see, the Lord cursed us with separation. The Lord cursed us with division, right? The Most High said, yeah, that the man that is tender among you, very delicate, this wise and compassionate man, you know, I'm going to go ahead and change his mind to want to leave you, to want to chase after his own desires, and to put away the selfless, you know, charitable spirit, and to put on the selfish spirit, you know, the only me spirit, right? The Most High said, look, I'm going to curse y'all with this because look, back then in the land of Israel, how things are right now, how, you know, I see a YN, right? I see a YN walking down the street with a shiesty, you know, and he's mean mugging me. Hey, I'm just like, all right, well, hopefully nothing happens today. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully this YN don't try it, right? But why is that? Why do I have that in my mind when this is my own flesh, right? This is no different than the same blood in my body that's walking towards me. But why do I have this level of what's the word?
anxiety, right? Why do I have this level of anxiety when somebody of my own kindred comes towards me? It's because of this. His eye shall be evil towards his brother. We live in a nation, as a people of Israel, that our culture is based upon putting down each other. All these rap songs that we listen to is, ain't no gonna tell me ish. I had to go ahead and get it on my own. This broke, thought I could give him some money, right? Go ahead and get it on your own. Stop asking for a handout. That's what we always say. Stop asking for a handout. Stop asking for a handout. Well, all the other nations, all they do is handouts to their own people. Because guess what? When you do a handout, when you help somebody else other than yourself, guess what you do? Now you are creating a cohesive community. Now you are creating a safety net. Because guess what? If I help Brother Xavier out and I'm in a time where I'm low, what is Brother Xavier going to do when he sees me struggling? He's going to help me out. He's going to be like, oh, damn, bro. Hey, I remember that time you helped me out. Here you go, bro. Don't worry about it. That's how we build relationships. That's how we build community. And because we took what we had for granted, the Lord was like, look, I'm going to put this division on you. And I said, it's a curse. How do I know this is true? Let's go to verse 45.
Verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
Now notice how he said, these curses will pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. Well, guess what is one of the methods the Lord did to destroy us with these curses? That curse in verse 54. His eye shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. You see, that's how you destroy a nation. You destroy a nation by breaking up the family. That's how you destroy a community. If there is no families, you don't have no community. If everybody is out living for themselves, they're not even taking care of their own immediate house. They just taking care of they self, right? If we have a nation full of people that are only worried about a single individual, then how can we have a nation of multiple individuals, right? All in one, as in one body. We all separated. This is a curse that the Most High put on us. And the reason why I want to get this scripture out first is because the Colossians 3:13 plan, I labeled it Got Family, right? Well, the Colossians 3:13 plan is now teaching us how to deal with each other, right? Because first thing that we need to do when coming into the truth, we need to learn the laws. We need to know what's right or wrong. Okay, now we know what's right or wrong. Now we got our foundation. Well, now we need to know how to do what's right or wrong with being with somebody. Because things are always harder when you evolve another person, right? There's a reason why people in the truth want to be, to themselves. Because it's easier to keep the commandments when you don't have nobody bothering you. It's easy to exercise mercy if there's nobody to exercise mercy to, right? When you involve other people, now you open yourself to, uncomfortable situations. Now you open yourself to a possibility where, dang, I have to talk to him because he just offended me, or he just crossed the boundary. And dang, now I have to go ahead and let him know. Or you go ahead and you see a brother that's struggling. Now you have to take time out of your life, resources out of your life to try to go ahead and help this brother and put him back on his feet. You see, that takes effort, right? That takes work. Now, in order to do this correctly, we need to do this the way that God had it set up for us. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get 1 Kings 10:1. And I really want to go to this scripture first because, again, the purpose of this class is understanding the importance on creating a better community, right? We got to understand that our God gave us a syllabus, right, on how to treat each other that was so effective that the nation of Israel was looked at in awe. All the other nations was coming to us and being like, dang, look how unified these people are. Look at how orderly everything is. Look at the systems that's set in place. Look at the government that they have. Look at how they handle issues and problems. Wow, we want to be like those people right there. right? When we was operating under these laws, the laws that involves dealing with each other, no one could stop us, right? Why you think in the 80s we all talk about it? Oh, the CIA put coke in the 80s to create gangs, because we had gangs before, but these gangs were police. You know, these gangs were the police of our communities. We turned to these gangs to provide us with actual protection. They actually cared about the community. Well, guess what? When the Edomites, when our oppressor that the Most High put over us, devised this new device called drugs, right? This new way that we can get out of this bad situation that we in. Hey, look, you Negroes can get out of this hood if you just go ahead and sell coke. You don't need to go to college no more. You don't need to try to get a degree, right? Just go ahead, take this key, break it down, and go sell it to your people. And watch yourself be in the nice mansion with the white man or with that white woman, right? You're going to get that white woman that you always wanted if you just go ahead and you put your people last, right? So we got to understand the importance of community, of unity. These laws that the Most High gave us in regarding how to deal with each other was so effective that we had the mightiest people come to our nation and be amazed, right? So we're going to get 1 Kings 10 and verse 1.
It's the book of 1 Kings, chapter 10 and verse 1. And when the queen of Sheba heard the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to prove him with hard questions. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices, and very much gold, and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart.
Okay, so first off, we got the Queen of Sheba, right? This is like a Cleopatra. You know what I'm saying? Coming to our congregation right here. Cleopatra came and was like, damn, look at how unified you guys are. Oh man, you got the boys separated with the girls. You got everything decently and in order. Nobody is over here. You know, oh man, we got your sisters aren't walking around in skin tight clothes showing off their booty. You know, man, look at how unified everything is, right? So we got the Queen of Sheba. She came down because she's like, you know what? I heard the fame of the name of the Lord, man. I've heard great things of this Most High, how he, split the Red Sea for y'all, how he went ahead and took down the walls of Jericho for y'all, how he went ahead and gave you all the land of Canaan. I heard this great name called the Lord. And you know what? They said you had a lot of answers. So let me go ahead and notice how it said that she tried to prove him with hard questions. She was like, no, I want to see if you really about that, right? Let's go to verse 3.
And Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king, which he told her not.
Read.
And when the queen of Sheba had seen all of Solomon's wisdom, in the house that he had built, in the meat of his table, in the sitting of his servants, in the attendance of his ministers, in their apparel, in his cupbearers, in his ascents by which he went up unto the house of the Lord, there was no more spirit in her.
Okay, so when it says there was no more spirit in her, she gave up. She was like, damn, I lost. Okay, yep, because look, this guy, the cupbearer, the guy who brings the water, Look at how happy he is to just serve and bring water. The person that's mopping the floor. Man, I never heard somebody whistle and mop the floor before. They don't do that in Egypt. They mopping the floor like, oh God, I hate it here. Man, I wanna be a noble, right? We got the people that's not even nobles happy here. Dang, you know what? Hey, I give up. Obviously, you got the wisdom. Obviously, y'all know how to build a community. Obviously, y'all know how to build a nation. Because you guys came from one man. You guys was a family from a farmer. And look at this mighty nation right here. Look at all these gold plates. Look at, dang, what? This a gold fork? We don't got this in Egypt, right? This is all from keeping the commandments. This is all from following the syllabus, like I said earlier, that the Most High gave us on how to deal with each other, right? Let's go to verse 7.
Howbeit, I believed not the words until I came, and my eyes had seen it. And, behold, the half was not told me, thy wisdom and prosperity exceedeth the fame which I heard.
Okay, so you see, she was like, hey, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I honestly ain't believed that y'all was the greatest people on the planet. You know, I was hearing, hey, the people of Israel is the greatest people on the planet. And I was like, what? This is Egypt. What are you talking about, Israel? Like, man, they can't be that great. So she was like, you know what? Hey, I'm going to be real with you. Everything that I heard about you was true. Everything I heard about your nation was true. Everything I heard about your people, your family is true. How everybody is so happy. You know what? Let me not speak before the Lord. Read verse 8.
Happy are thy men.
No, sad.
Happy are thy men.
No, angry.
Happy are thy men.
Read.
Happy are thy servants.
Happy are his what?
Happy are these thy servants.
Read.
Which stand continually
Forever. Read.
And that hear thy wisdom.
So which stand continually before thee, right? So he's like, hey, these servants, they willing to serve you to the very end. They willing to bear your cup. They're willing to give you water for the end of time. That's how great you got these people in order. That's how great the system that you guys are following, that everybody is happy, right? Let's go to Proverbs 29 and verse 2, right? Because again, God gave us the perfect syllabus on how to build a strong and cohesive community, right? When we followed the roadmap, not only was our people united, but the order that was set up was so perfect that even the other nations that visited our land knew it had to come from God. That's how perfect things were. You got to remember, the land of Canaan, before the Israelites came and took it over, and yes, slaughtered the nations that were there, you got to understand those nations that were there, they were sacrificing their children. They were eating their babies. They were touching little boys and little girls. They didn't have no age limit on who was an adult and who was a child, right? They were sodomites. These people didn't have no order. It was the Badlands. So yeah, they had to go. And the Most High exterminated them with the Israelites. And guess what? That new seed was planted in that soil. And look at the tree that was brought forth. It was a tree that has so much fruit that nations across a whole nother region can be like, dang, look how big that tree is. Look how much fruit is on that tree. You know what? Let me go prove that tree. Let me go taste that fruit. And you go there and you taste the fruit, and it's the sweetest fruit you ever tasted in your life. That's what the Queen of Sheba, that was her experience. She said, dang, this is what God is like. This is what God's people is like, right? That's why the heathen stole it from us, right? And tried to paint us as Africans, you know, clicking with our tongue, you know, and the safari with a spear. Like, no. When our true origin story was kings, priests, and queens. That was our true origin story. Our true origin story wasn't being naked, being called Zulu, you know, trying to chase a boar, trying to chase a gazelle. You know what I'm saying? Hey, for real. Hey, Queen of Sheba, you better ask somebody. Oh, man. Hold up. Nah, you good. Hey, and it's just like what Sister Kim said. Taste and see for yourself. Because, hey, that's what the Most High, that's what the Most High tells us, right? When we question the Lord, the Most High says, prove your cause. He's like, all right, go ahead, prove it. You think I'm wrong? All right, go ahead. Try to disprove me making the sun stand still for a whole day. Try to disprove that. Because even the scientists can't do that, right? So the Queen of Sheba was like, you know what? Let me try this guy. And guess what? She was like, dang, this is a godly society. So I say that to say we need to return to our original society, right? The only way to do that is if we deal with each other the way God commanded us to, right? Because every good thing that we had as a nation came from us listening to God. Every good thing that we ever had, it came from us obeying the Most High, right? Every bad thing that we ever received as a nation came from us disobeying the Most High, right? The Most High gave us these laws not to be a jerk, not to be like, oh yeah, you can't eat that no more because I just don't want you to. No, the Lord was like, don't eat that no more because that's bad for you. The Lord was like, here, you are the children of God. I don't want the children of God wearing clothes with mingled fabrics. You know, I want you guys to have 100%, the best of the best. right? Put these fringes on your clothes because that's going to distinguish you as royalty from everybody else in the world. When I'm at work, people be like, oh man, oh, this is so cool. Who did that, man? Oh, that's so nice. Is that a fashion statement? No, this is a commandment. And I know it looks beautiful because God told me to do it. That's why it looks so good, right? We got to go back to these old ways, just like in Jeremiah. We have to go back to the old paths, right? Let's get Colossians 3:13, because I'm saying, okay, we have to now deal with each other, right? Well, dealing with each other is hard. Hey, especially Israel. We crazy. You know what I'm saying? We crazy than a mug. So dealing with crazy people is hard. I know. But hey, guess what? It's rewarding because even me trying to have fruit trees grow, hey, it's not easy. Man, my face got knocked down twice. You know, like for real, they got knocked down twice, splooged out of the pot. I'm just like, damn, it's like I'm watching a crime scene. I'm over there, my heart dropped. My daughter dropped the first one. I was like, oh, come on, bro. Please. You know, it's hard, right? There's going to be times where that pot's going to be spilt and all your soil is going to be out on the concrete. Are you going to have the dedication? Are you going to have the ambition to be like, you know what? I want to make this work so much that even if there's egg on my face, I'm going to clean it up and keep going, right? So, again, let's get Colossians 3:13.
It's the book of Colossians chapter 3 and verse 13. Forbearing one another and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye.
Okay, so he says forbearing one another, right? And I honestly, my bad. I honestly should have got this definition. It just came to my mind. Oh my goodness. Hold on. All right, let's go here. Because this says forbearing, you know, so we're going to go ahead, get the definition on that. Boop. All right, so forbearing, of a person, patient, and restrained. So basically referring to a person that's exercising patience and restraint, right? We had the example here. He proved to be remarkably forbearing whenever I was impatient or angry. Or he proved to be remarkably forbearing when I hit his car. Or he was remarkably forbearing, you know, when I ate his food, you know. So these are things that goes to forbearing, patience, tolerant. You know, that's a good one right there. Being tolerant of somebody, being able to just be like, you know what? It's okay, bro. You know, we going to move forward from this. We going to move past this. Forgiving, merciful, you know, easygoing, not really easygoing because you don't want to be a respecter of persons. You know, that's Deuteronomy 1:17. You don't want to be like, because I like Brother Xavier and I saw him go ahead and cook something on the Sabbath, I'm not going to say nothing, you know, because I like Brother Xavier, you know. No, I'm going to be like, hey, bro, what's going on with that? And same, likewise with Brother Xavier. Brother Xavier's going to be like, hey, bro, what you doing, right? But again, Brother Xavier's not going to kick me out the house. He's not going to be like, all right, bro, you got to go. Because he's going to have patience, right? He's going to forgive. He's going to be merciful. He's going to understand. He's going to be like, you know what, bro? There was times where I messed up, you know, so I'm gonna let this slide just as long as you actively try to change, you know. So again, Colossians 3:13, you know, the scripture that makes up the plan, the scripture that is the focal point of the class, forbearing one another, right? Being tolerant of one another, being patient with one another. And notice how it says, if any man have a quarrel against any, if any man has if any man has an altercation with any, you know, even as Christ forgave you, you know, so also do ye. Because I guarantee you, right, there is nobody, man, I bet everything, that there is not a single person in this walk that has been walking this walk spotless. Because, hey, you're Christ. And there's only one Christ to my knowledge, you know, unless somebody knows something different to me. But there's only one Jesus Christ. So I know without a shadow of a doubt that every single person that's watching this has committed a trespass against Christ, right? But guess what? You're still alive right now. I know this is true because you in the lesson. Hey, all praises, you know, you listening, you alive right now. Christ gave you that mercy and patience. So that's the same level of mercy and patience you got to do for someone else. Because hey, we all came from different parts, right? You know, there was some of y'all ate pork in the world, right? Some of y'all, you know, didn't wear fringes. Some of y'all wore mixed fabric clothing, right? Some of y'all might have openly hated God. Some of y'all might have openly been God's biggest hater. I was God's biggest hater. Hey, I was an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like I was a smart ass too. So you an asshole and a smart ass. Hey, well, that's a double negative right there. So I was God's biggest hater, right? But hey, look, I'm right here. God could have killed me. Man, there was one time I was walking home with my homie. And, you know, I was just like, you know, if God is real, you know, if I go to hell, I at least want to be like, you know, top demon. I want to be the one whipping people. You know, I don't want to be the one suffering. I want to be the one whipping people. And look at me right now. I got fringes on. Isn't that crazy? That just goes to show you that we all come from different parts of life, right? Hey, Paul was a murderer. Paul was a blasphemer, right? Paul was these things too. But Paul was one of the biggest advocates for Christ. Let's get that. Let's go to 1 Timothy 1 and verse 12.
This is the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 1 and verse 12. And I thank Christ Jesus our Lord, who hath enabled me, for that he counted me faithful, putting me into the ministry.
Read.
Who was before a blasphemer and a persecutor and injurious, but I obtained mercy because I did it ignorantly in belief, unbelief.
Good. Hey, all praises to the Most High, because he did it ignorantly in unbelief. And guess what? There's going to be times when a brother or a sister is going to do a trespass against you ignorantly. Maybe they just didn't know that was a boundary that you had. You know, maybe you going ahead and taking off your shoes is offensive, right? You taking off your shoes and you know you just offended the person. You're like, hey, bro, you know, I don't like it when people show their feet around me. You know, like, hey, that's highly offensive, bro. Are you gonna have the mercy and patience that Christ had for you when you was eating that pork chop, when you was eating that bacon, when you was fornicating on a holy day? Are you gonna have that mercy and patience that Christ had for you to that brother or to that sister, right? Because hey, this is Paul. Hey, Paul was so great that the Christianity, hey, that's their top dog right there. You know, Christianity loves Paul, right? So much that they twist the heck out of his words, right? So you got to understand, this was a mighty man in the faith, right? And before he was called, he was a blasphemer. He was a persecutor. He was killing people in the truth. He was hunting people down, saying, hey, man, make sure you get that Negro that talked about that Jesus guy, that crazy Negro from Nazareth. Yeah, make sure you get him, right? That's what Paul was doing. He was a Pharisee, right? Read verse 14.
And the grace of our Lord was exceeding abundant.
No, slightly abundant.
Exceeding abundant.
No, just a little bit.
Exceeding abundant.
Read.
With faith and love, which is in Christ Jesus.
Okay, so again, we going into forbearing. We're going into dealing with each other, right? You see, a lot of us aren't willing to help another person grow if it comes at the expense of an inconvenience. What do I mean by that? Well, you know, let's say, like I said, let's say Brother Xavier had an issue with washing his dishes or something. Like he was just really messy, right? And, you know, like, I'm just like, well, I could go ahead and put myself in an uncomfortable situation and try to have this conversation with Xavier, letting him know, like, hey, bro, you know, I really don't, you know, appreciate that. And honestly, you know, as a man, you should want to kind of take care of yourself a little bit better, right? A lot of us don't want to put ourselves in that inconvenient position so someone else can grow. Because guess what? If I do that, Brother Xavier's going to grow. Because if we're able to do that in godliness, if we're able to do that with godly discourse, hey, Brother Xavier's going to sit there and be like, you know what, bro? Hey, my bad, bro. If meat caused my brother to offend, I won't eat meat as the world standeth. So, hey, bro, I'm going to make sure I clean up after myself. Because you know what? That's actually right. I do need to be more organized in the first place. And guess what? Brother Xavier is going to grow. Now Brother Xavier is more organized. Now Brother Xavier, you know what I'm saying? These are the things that needs to take place for growth. These are the things that need to take place for community. But a lot of us aren't willing to put ourselves in that position. Let's say someone is struggling with addiction, right? And because of that addiction, they struggle showing up to church, or they struggle being around, godly people, right? Or they might have stole from you, right? A lot of us outside looking in would hear that and say, oh man, you got to talk to them. You got to check up on them. Well, what do people in the world say nowadays? Oh, man, speak up. Stop killing yourselves, or stop deleting yourselves. I don't know if I can say that, but you know how this world is now. But, hey, man, stop deleting yourselves. Speak up. Talk to somebody, right? A lot of us outside looking in will see somebody struggling with an addiction and be like, dang, yeah, someone needs to check up on them. Someone needs to talk to them. Or what do people always say when a popular man dies from suicide? They always say, if only somebody talked to them. Right? If only they would have talked to somebody, right? These are the things that we say, right? But are you willing to be that person that will go ahead and bring them dinner because they've been struggling with bills from this addiction, even though they stole from you? Are you going to be that person that's going to help them out and sit there and actually talk to them? Because it's easy to say things, but it's hard to actually perform them. It's hard to actually do, right? How many of us would really do that for somebody else? That requires you to use your gas, your time, your money, your resources, right? So that you can restore somebody other than yourself, right? If I go to that person with an addiction and I bring them dinner, how is that me taking care of myself? I'm not taking care of myself. As a matter of fact, I'm using, my gas, I'm using my time, I'm using my food, my resources to go ahead and give it to somebody else. I'm not going to eat this dinner, right? And I don't expect this person to pay me back because this person is struggling with addiction, right? But a lot of us, you see, are diamonds in the rough, and we can only be polished by somebody else. That's why the Most High made this walk a marathon, right? And a marathon, is it just one person running? There's multiple people, right? And they all running together. And guess what? In the marathon, even though they might be running against each other, they're encouraging each other. They're like, hey, man, hey, you only got 5 more miles, man. Well, that's not encouraging. I ain't gonna lie. But hey, man, you got one more step, man. Just one step in front of the other. You're almost there. Hey, the checkpoint is 1 mile away. Just keep going. And they might be running against each other, right? But hey, you can only get through that marathon if you get through it with someone else. But yeah, and I only bring that up. Oh yeah, hey, for real. Like the long walk. Hey, these guys were competing against each other, right? But they were exhorting each other. They were like, hey man, hey, you gotta keep moving. They're right behind us, man. Just keep going. You're almost there. And they know only one can make it. But yet they still, lifting up their brothers and being like, no, we're going to finish this together, even though they know that only one can make it, right? How many of us are willing to polish these diamonds that are in the rough, right? Because if no one is willing to, hey, we just stay in the mud. We're not going to glimmer. We're not going to shine. Let thy light shine. Your light is not going to shine if you stay in the mud. Even though you got the milk, even though you got the laws and you're like, oh man, these laws are so good. These laws are so right. If you stay cooped up in your house, like a Chinese kung fu master, you cooped up in the mountains meditating for 40 years, you're going to be left behind when Christ comes, because Christ is coming to grab, his people that are trying to build the kingdom of heaven back, right? The kingdom of heaven is not made by one person. The kingdom of heaven is made by the nation of Israel, right? Let's get Galatians 6 and get verse 1, because I said, we are all diamonds in the rough waiting to be polished by somebody else. And while our brother gets that, we're going to go into these comments real quick. I seen something. Oh, yeah, right here. Slap the ham sandwich out of his hand. Put that ham sandwich down, brother. Hey, for real. Oh, man. I'm spotless just like a Dalmatian, for real. He crazy. Let's see. Then in the long run, then in the long run, we will have a better team as a collective. Yeah, no, for real. And because think about it. If we, like, how the hell can you win a game If it's like, let's say Stephen Curry, right? Greatest shooter of all time, right? How the hell is Stephen Curry going to win the NBA Finals if it's just Stephen Curry versus the Rockets? He's going to get cooked. That's too many people. Yeah, Stephen Curry might be able to shoot from the parking lot, but shit, if there's 10, 12 people on Stephen Curry, how is Stephen Curry going to make that shot? Right? Stephen Curry needs a team, right? So no, I like that. In the long run, we have a better team as a collective. Hey, uncomfortable conversations create the best people. That's true. Because keeping the laws, like the Most High will purposely put you in a position where you have to choose being comfortable or choose him. He will purposely put you in that position, right? So if you stay cooped up by yourself, how are you ever going to experience, those situations? How are you ever going to apply the scriptures, right? So uncomfortable conversations create the best people. A balanced out team that grows together is better. Yeah, no, for real. Hey, just like that Stephen Curry analogy. Especially the last person passing the. Yeah, no, for real. Hey, and you know what? That's encouragement too. Like when you're doing a marathon, you know what I'm saying? You're getting encouraged while you're doing that marathon. And then even when you cross the finish line, everybody's like, yeah, woo, right? That builds you up, right? That's how you build, again, community. That's how you build relationships, okay? So again, we're gonna go get to this we're gonna go get to the scripture, Galatians 6 and verse 1.
It's the book of Galatians, chapter 6 and verse 1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted.
So again, I said a lot of us are diamonds in the rough that can only be polished by somebody else. Well, hey, guess what? The scripture says, if any man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, ye which keep the commandments, because the law is spiritual, right? Restore that person. Give that person the comforter. The comforter is these laws, right? Ye which are spiritual. Don't go ahead and cast that man out immediately. Because guess what? He says, considering thyself, right? A man of counsel will be considerate. Think about yourself. When he says considering thyself, he's saying that thinking about yourself and all the stupid ish that you did, right? When you see a person fall, consider yourself. Be like, dang, you know what? I did fall off that same bike when my training wheels got taken off. So let me not laugh at this person because he fell on his face, right? Let me not be condescending towards this person. Let me go ahead and lift him up and put him back on the bike. Hey, no, man, you can keep pedaling. Yeah, I fell too. But guess what? If you stop pedaling now, you're never going to get to your destination, right? We trying to get to the kingdom of heaven. Restore such a one in the spirit of meekness. Now, again, this is a way that you should do it, right? In the spirit of meekness, be humble, right? Don't go ahead and be like, man, you still cooking on the Sabbath, bro? Oh, man, dang. What are we going to do about you? All right, come here. No, in the spirit of meekness. Hey, dang, bro, you still cooking on the Sabbath? Well, all right, bro, but this really got to stop. And then you showing them scriptures. Hey, let's go to Exodus 31. Let's go to Exodus 16, right? Let's see. Let me show you, because maybe you just haven't seen the scriptures, right? In the spirit of meekness. Now, give verse 2.
Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ.
Again, bear ye one another's burden. And notice how it says fulfill the law of Christ. What is the law of Christ? Because it says fulfill the law of Christ. Let's get Matthew 22 and verse 40, verse 39. Or actually, we'll start at 37.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse 37. Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
Okay, so when we go to, Galatians 6:2, where he says, bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. Well, guess what? Christ told us to love thy brother as thyself. He said this commandment is so important that is just as important as the first commandment, which is have no other gods before me, right? He said the second is like unto it. Hey, this is just as important, right? And he said on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. He's not saying, oh, all you have to do is just, have bubbly feelings in your guts towards God and, have a bubbly feeling to your brother. No, he's saying that on these two commandments, the basis of all the commandments are based off the foundation of these two laws. Have no other gods before the Most High, and love your people like you love yourself, right? So when we say fulfill the law of Christ, how are you fulfilling the law of Christ if you are isolated? How are you fulfilling the law of Christ if you are not getting to your people? If you're not, and you may not be a person that is eccentric enough to try to be bold and go out to the streets and be like, oh, we got to keep the commandments. We're the 12 tribes of Jacob. But again, still go ahead and put yourself out there. There's hundreds of congregations that got, videos on YouTube. Go ahead, find a video, join the live chat. Don't just watch, join the chat, comment, engage. Because guess what? How can you really fulfill the law of Christ if you're by yourself? What brother are you loving? You loving yourself? I don't think the scripture said love thyself as thyself, right?
Trying to play a multiplayer game with one controller by yourself.
Hey, real talk. Hey, and anybody that ever did that as a kid, that ish was boring.
Get bored real quick.
Real talk. You got sad. You was like, hey, I wish my friend was here, man. I'm over here trying to play this 2-player game by myself. You playing double dragon, but you single dragon, right? Again, we gotta bear ye one another's burdens. This is one of the foundations of having a community, being tolerant of one another. Because if we're tolerant of one another, when issues come, and believe me, they will. Issues will come. When issues come, you will know how to move forward. Because guess what? If it wasn't a commandment from God that we loved our people as ourselves, what would be stopping us from giving each other, the short end of the stick? What would be stopping us of not giving each other our best? What we have now. Think about it. How our people is now. Like I said, why when I see a YN with his ski mask, with his hands in his drawers, why do I be like, dang, I really hope I don't have to do something right now? Why does that cross my mind? How come when, I see an Edomite, I'm walking down the neighborhood, I see Edomite, he's smiling, big wave, howdy neighbor. But then I go ahead and I see a brother and I'm like, hey, what's going on, bro? And he just looks at me like I'm a gremlin, right? This is the foundation of building a cohesive community. It's if one, we treat each other the way God told us to. That's the only way. Because if God's not involved, we're just gonna treat each other the way how we think is right. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm dumb, right? We are all dumb. That's why we have God. God teaches us how to think, right? I was just saying I want to be in the lake of fire as a demon whipping people. That don't sound intelligent to me, right? That don't sound smart. So when we stray away from how God told us how to deal with each other, we get division, we get destruction, right? Let's get Sirach 6. Well, actually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's first get Proverbs 17 and 17, because this is also on the Colossians plan. These scriptures are like the first 4 scriptures in the plan. And these scriptures are so heavy that this is basically making up the whole class. We are almost an hour in, and we are like on the 3rd scripture on the plan. So, that just goes to show you like how much you really can get into dealing with each other, dealing with people, right? It's a whole science behind dealing with people. You have psychologists, right? You have psychiatrists. You have body language interpreters. You have interpreters like interrogators, from the police, right? They have interrogators, and the interrogators are trained to understand how people work, right? Are trained to understand how people's minds work, right? Well, guess what? We know how to operate with the way God gave us, right? This is the greatest the greatest psychology book you could ever read because this is going to tell you exactly how people are, and it's going to tell you how to deal with certain people when those certain people come into your life, because they will. Those people will come. Hey, now hold on. This apes together strong. Apes stupid. Hey, for real. But hey, notice apes together strong. You know, hey, when we're together, we're strong. Notice those monkeys and Planets of the Apes were not a threat when they didn't know how to communicate to each other, right? When the monkeys did not know how to communicate to each other, they were animals. They were in cages. But as soon as they were like, hey, are you tired of this? Yeah, I'm tired of this. Man, F this. Yeah, you know what? Hey, F this too. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. They all go ahead and boom, now it's a revolt, right? So again, we got to understand the importance of being together. We got to understand the importance of real family, of a real brother. What does that look like? Because I'm saying, okay, we got to forbear one another. We got to be real with each other. We got to love each other. What does that person look like? How can we identify a brother or a sister that, you know, is made for this? Let's go ahead and get Proverbs 17 and 17.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 17 and verse 17. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
A brother is born for what?
For adversity.
Okay, so and notice how it says a friend loveth at all times. Because again, in order to really be in a community, there's going to be times where you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. You see, a friend isn't going to necessarily care if you go or not, right? You know, I have work friends, right? I necessarily don't care what they do outside of work. I could give a damn. You know, I got this to worry about outside of work, right? I'm a hireling, right? So, hey, it says a friend loveth at all times, but a brother is born for adversity. A brother is someone where when times aren't good, he's still going to be there for you. When times are bad, when you mess up, he's still going to be right by your side, encouraging you, telling you, hey, bro, get back up. Proverbs 24 and 16. You got to get back up, bro. Hey, a just man falleth 7 times, but will rise up again. It's time for you to rise again, bro. Don't stay fallen. Don't stay smitten. That's what a real brother's going to do. A friend is going to be like, damn, what happened? Exactly. Hey, say it again.
That's crazy.
Hey, that's what I say. That's what I be saying, man. I be like, you know, a person at work will be talking to me about their day. I'll be like, man, that's crazy. Oh, man. Ooh, that's crazy. Meanwhile, I got a class playing or something, or I got my reading playing, and I'm just like, yeah, that's crazy. You know, can you be quiet so I can focus? You see, that's what a friend is gonna do, right? Let's go to Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 6, and we'll start at verse 7.
It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6 and verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
Okay, so, you know, again, I said, how can we identify this person? We know in Proverbs 17:17, like, okay, this person is born for adversity. But what is that adversity going to look like? How can I get a similitude of that person, right? Read.
For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble.
Well, that's step 1. All right. If things get rough for you, right, and that person that was so-called your dog, that person that was so-called your day 1 is not there in day 50, well, hey, guess what? That person was not a real brother. That person was not a real friend, right? That person wasn't a person that was there for you, right? That person was there for their own occasion because you had something that was pleasing to them at the moment. You might have had that nice car, right? You might have had that nice watch. You might have had that PS5, and they always came over to your house so you guys could play a Fortnite together or whatever, right? As soon as that PS5 is in a fire, they no longer in your house. No longer returning your calls. Some is a friend for their own occasion. Get verse 9.
And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reapproach.
Okay, so and there's step 2. There's another way you can identify. There's a friend who turns to enmity, which is, an adversary. Enmity means you are an adversary. You are against that person. And strife will discover thy reproach. So because they are now against you, because now they have a ought against you and they was your friend, now they're like, man, wasn't you that Negro that was fornicating on the Sabbath? Man, get away from me, man. You over here, you you try to talk to me, you try to check me. Man, wasn't you fornicating that day? Guess what? Hey, now he's turned to enmity and strife. And now he's discovering your reproach. He's like, man, get away from me, bro. Like, that's what they was doing to Job. Right? They were like, man, I knew that Negro was wicked. Because look, his whole family was taken away.
But you only do that if you are respected as a person.
Hey, facts.
It only get to that point if you're respecting the person.
Facts. And again, Deuteronomy 1:17, right? I think that's even on the Colossians plan. Hey, we're going to get into that in part 2, right? But like what he said, being a respecter of persons, right? That's the only way that situation is going to really unfold, right? Is if that person has that spirit on them. Get verse 10.
Again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction.
Read.
But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and he will be bold over thy servants.
Okay, but he's like, wait, hold on. When things are good, he's going to be kicking it. When you have that PS5, he's going to have his feet up on the couch. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be telling your mom, hey, can I have a fruit snack too? Hey, let me get some Mott's. Hey, bro. Hey, you got some cereal? You got some Frosted Flakes, right? He's gonna be in your house just like you, right? He's gonna be when things are good, right? He's gonna be like you guys gonna go to the club. What do the rapper's entourage do? Man, I'm the friend of Lil Baby. Man, you better let me in this club, right? That's what they're gonna do when times are good. Read verse 12.
If thou be brought low, he will be against thee and will hide himself from thy face.
So remember what I said, when that PS5 is gone, he's not returning your calls, right? When you no longer a popular rapper no more, when you fell off, now all of a sudden they not around you. Now all of a sudden the security guard not letting you in the club and your homie's not with you, right? This is how you can identify people who are not solid. This is how you can identify people who are not ready to be in a godly community, who aren't ready to be in a community in general, right? This is how you can identify these people. And notice, guess what each one of these examples have in common? It's all from a spirit of selfishness, right? That's what all these examples have in common. It's all from a spirit of selfishness, right? Because, hey, guess what? Because he feels some type of way, he's like, man, I'm going to go ahead and air out your dirty laundry, right? Guess what? Because you are now afflicted, because now you don't have the servants, because now you don't have the status, he's gone. Well, because that person was selfish. Love thy brother as thyself is a selfless commandment, right? So when you have the spirit of selfishness, now you are in a position where it is impossible for you to be a part of a community, because you're always going to put yourself before someone else, right? Let's go ahead and get let's go ahead and get Genesis. Well, actually, hold up. My bad. Stay in Sirach 6. My bad, y'all. My bad. And we're gonna get verse 13.
Verse 13. Separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed of thy friends.
Keep reading.
A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such a one have found a treasure.
Okay, so I definitely didn't want to leave this part out, okay? Because I'm telling you what a hireling looks like, right? I'm telling you what a person that isn't for you looks like, right? Well, hey, guess what? When you do eventually find that solid person, when you do eventually find that brother, that's a real brother, that Proverbs 17:17 brother, hey, cherish that brother, because guess what? He's a strong defense. You know, that person's going to save you in your times of trouble. I might be down. I might be moping. Brother Xavier, like, hey, bro, what's going on? And I'm just like, man, I just don't know, man. I went ahead and I cooked on the Sabbath, man. I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. He's gonna be like, bro, what? Man, come on, you better get yourself together, bro. It's just one mistake, bro. You know how many mistakes I made? How many mistakes you gonna still make? Man, keep going. Look at David. Look at Solomon. Look at these righteous men. Hezekiah. Look at these mistakes that they made, but the Lord still counted them faithful. Still counted them righteous. Bro, keep going, right? That's what a faithful friend looks like. And hey, when you find that person, just know you found a treasure. Read verse 15.
Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable.
Okay, so he's like, hey, there's nothing that can basically be nothing can counter a faithful friend. There's nothing that can be better than a faithful friend. Read.
A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him.
And how are you going to find that person if you fear God? Well, guess what? If you fear God, you're going to be keeping the commandments, right? So if you're keeping the commandments, you're eventually going to find other people that are keeping the commandments. And if you find another person that is keeping the commandments in sincerity, well, hey, you just found a faithful friend. So the only way you can find this faithful friend, and this is God also telling you that the only way you can really find a solid individual is if you find somebody that loves me. If you're with somebody that doesn't love me, they're susceptible to change. They're susceptible to do you wrong because they're not following this guideline that I set in place. Right? It says that whoso feareth the Lord, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. Right? Because guess what? If you fear God, you're going to want to find more people that fear God too. If you really fear God, you're going to be tired of being around people that don't fear God. You're going to be tired of being around fornicators. You're going to be tired of being around adulterers, around murderers. You know, my homies in Miami, they would talk, oh yeah, man, look at this guy's wife I just smacked. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. I got tired of hearing that. You know, every time I'm around you, you talking about buns. You know, like, bruh, I'm trying to change my lifestyle, right? And guess what? Now I'm here. I'm no longer in Miami. I left the city of palm trees and sun, and now I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I left all of that so I can be around people that fear God. Because hey, guess what? I understand no amount of palm trees, no amount of sunshine, no amount of water can replace what I found right here, right? That's what I understood. And that's what you need to understand, right? If you find that person. Let's go to Genesis 37 because, you know, I'm going into showing like what forbearing looks like, right? I'm going and saying that if you want to have a community, you have to learn how to forgive each other, no matter what may happen. You know, I know my examples, they might be funny, you know, they might be not that extreme, right? But there's things that happen in the scriptures where, like, for example, if I go ahead and I'm like, you know, Brother Quell's not my brother no more, because he said my forehead's big, right? Hey, guess what? There's people in the scriptures. David was getting hunted down by Saul, and David still called Saul his master. Okay, so if I'm gonna crash out, right? If I'm like, man, forget Brother Quell, man, he said my forehead's big, right? And I don't rock with Brother Quell no more. How am I gonna look like to the Most High when he's like, man, I've had worse spirits put on other people that went after my servants, and they still love their brother. They still forbear them, and they grew from that, right? How would I look? So let's go to Genesis 37, and we'll get verse 1.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 37 and verse 1. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the son of Bilhah, with the sons of Zilpah his father's wives, and Joseph brought unto his father their evil report.
Okay, so Joseph is basically like what we call snitching, right? But hey, that's another thing that Esau instilled in our people, because guess what? God tells us to snitch. He's like, hey, you better sound that trumpet, because if you don't tell that person what they're doing is wrong, or if you don't tell me, hey, I'm gonna be after you and him, because you knew of that sin, right? So Joseph's being good. He's like, hey, Dad, hey, they were on BS, right? Verse 3.
Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors.
Okay, so this is saying now Israel, Jacob, he favored Joseph out of all his sons, right? And that's natural. Everybody's always gonna have favorites, right? He favored Joseph out of all his children, right? And it was because, hey, that was the son of his old age, right? At the time, that was the only son that came from, the wife that he preferred, Rachel. So to him, that was like his golden boy, right? He's like, nah, this is my child right here, right? This was his favorite kid. Read.
When his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him.
And notice it said, they hated him and could not speak peaceably towards him. Anytime they were around, man, move, little Negro, man, get away from me, man. Like real talk. It's like Joseph might be, he might, I don't know, he might drop some oranges. Oh, dang, look at this little Negro, man. He always fumbling, man. Nothing ever can. You see, they had something against Joseph because they were envious, they were jealous, right? Let me get this real quick. We joking about foreheads. I have to look. Hey, that's funny. And I ain't gonna lie, I always joke about my forehead too, cause hey, I being in Miami, especially too in middle school, hey, it was treacherous in them schools, man. I had to survive. I was a target, so I got all the jokes, But yeah. So Joseph's brothers were envious of him because Joseph was the favorite child, right? Give verse 5.
Verse 5. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more.
Okay, what was this dream about? Read.
And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For, behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obedience to my sheaf.
Read.
And his brethren said unto him, Thou shalt indeed reign over us?
Okay, so why are they like, man, are you saying you're going to rule us? Because Joseph.
No.
Okay. No, you good. Because Joseph was a dreamer, right? Joseph, we're getting like a condensed story of Joseph right now, right? And we're not going to talk about this, but I'm just going to say it. Joseph, he was the person that was cast into the prison in Egypt, and the Pharaoh was having these visions, and none of his wise men can interpret these visions but Joseph. So the Most High gave Joseph the gift of sight. Essentially, he gave Joseph the gift of prophecy, right? Because what Joseph just seen was a vision of the future, right? He said, like, look, all my sheep stood upright, and all your sheep stood round about, and made obnoisance to my sheep. And let's get that word too. We're gonna go ahead and get that word. I don't want nobody to be like, what does that mean? All right, I got you. Omniscience. All right. Oh, wrong one. Move here. Oop. Okay. All right. So
Obeisance.
Obeisance. I had to just click that real quick. I was like, you know what? Let me let me see how to really pronounce this word. But anyways, obeisance, right? Differential respect, right? Or a gesture expressing differential respect, such as a bow or courtesy, right? They paid obeisance to the prince, right? They bowed. And look at these synonyms: respect, homage, worship, adoration, reverence, right? Now, mind you, Joseph at the time was, the runt of the litter. He was the youngest one, right? He was the peewee. Now, the peewee is saying, hey, all of you guys are going to bow down to me. I just had a vision, man, and for some reason, you guys were bowing down to me. They're like, what? Like, bro, who you talking to, man? Here goes this little Negro again, man. Father's favorite, already tattletales on us, and now he's trying to say that he's going to be king. Now look at this Negro, right? Read.
And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made, how do you pronounce it again? Obeisance. That's what it said. Obeisance to me. And he told it to his father and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed?
Yeah, because daddy like, well, what you talking about, boy? He said, I'm going to serve you. Man, you my son. What you coming up with this? Like, you saying that, the stars and all everything revolved around you? Because that's basically what he's saying. He's like, hey, I dreamed this dream, and look, the sun, moon, and stars were bowing down to me, right? He's basically saying, hey, I was the center of the universe, right? He was like, hey, I was the focal point. And even his daddy's like, what you talking about, man? Like, man, go ahead and tend to that field. You know what I'm saying? He's like, what? What are you on about? Read.
Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth?
So that was more of like a rhetorical question. He's like, bro, you think I'm gonna serve you, bro? Like, you think me, your mama, and your brothers are all gonna serve you, and you gonna be a king? So that's what his father is saying. He's just like, bro, what? But hey, check this out. Let's read verse 11.
And his brother envied him, but his father observed the same.
So his brethren envied him even more because of it. But his father, even though his father rebuked him at first and was like, bro, what you talking about? He thought about it. He was like, is this little Negro special? Right? He thought about it. He was like, you know what? I'm going to keep this in the back of my mind. Give verse 12.
And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem.
Okay, so, Joseph had this dream, right? He told this dream and he was like, hey, all of y'all are going to be like bowing down to me. For some reason, y'all was bowing down to me, in my dream. And, everybody was like, what is this kid talking about? Right? Let's go ahead and get verse 14.
Verse 14. And he said to him, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem.
Okay, so, because in verse 12, it said that, and his brethren went to feed their father's flock, right? Now in verse 14, Jacob was like, yeah, go to your brothers, right? Go and see like how well they're doing. Go and see how things are going with them, right? Now, real quick, I want to go ahead. I want to give a shout out to Sister Kim. Hey, all praises to the Most High. Okay, no. Hey, my bad.
I'm wrong. Y'all stupid.
That's the wrong one too.
The gasp in
Yeah, there we go.
The gasp in this room.
Oh man, hey, I don't know these sound bites, sis. I'm sorry. Hey. But all praises, we appreciate you, sis. Hey, my bad. But yeah, so let's go ahead and read verse 15 now, because Jacob said, hey, go and see how your brothers are doing in Shechem, right?
And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field, And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou?
Okay, so it's like you in the store and you clearly lost looking for something, and a store associate comes to you and is like, "Hey, do you need something?" Right? So that's what's going on. Read.
And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks.
Read.
And the man said, They are departed hence, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him.
Wait, what did they want to do?
They conspired against him to slay him.
His own brethren, right? His own flesh and blood wanted to kill him. Hey, yeah, don't worry, I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? I only know one, and it's the gay one. That's the only one I know. Hey, don't worry, I'm gonna go to the dojo. I'm gonna go to the dojo and come back, right? But so when his brethren saw him, right, they were like, oh God, here comes this little Negro again, man. Aren't you tired of this Negro? Well, let's just kill him, bro. Like, we'll be better off without him, right? His own brethren, right? Read.
And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer cometh.
Okay, you see, they're like, oh yeah, oh look, we got that so Raven coming in. Oh, let's make way, right? Read.
Come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit. And we will say, Some evil beast have devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams.
Okay, so they're like, man, let's go ahead and let's throw him in a ditch, and let's wait for a bear or a lion to come out and eat him, right? Give verse 21.
And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him.
Okay, what did he want to do? Let's read verse 22.
And Reuben said unto them, Shed not blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hands upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands.
Okay. So yeah, Reuben was like, you know what? Instead of us going ahead and casting him into some pit and watching him get eaten by some beast, hey, let's not do that, right? Let's go ahead and essentially just cast him into the wilderness and see if he survives, right? Because it says into this pit that is in the wilderness, right? So they're like, let's go to this ditch in the woods, let's put him there, right? And in that way, hey, we technically didn't kill him, right? We technically didn't put him in that situation, right? Read.
And it came to pass, when Joseph was coming to his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him.
So imagine this, right? You a little boy, you got all your big brothers you look up to, you love. You're like, man, these are all my big brothers. My daddy told me to go and check up on them. Hey, what's going on, brothers? And they just, come here, little they strip him down, take his coat of many colors. They was hating when he got that coat, right? They're probably like, man, daddy ain't never gave me a coat like that, man. What's up with that, right? They stripped him down. Come here, man. They hemmed him up off his coat. Read.
And they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it.
Okay, so again, you just little boy. Can you imagine that? You a little boy and you going to walk up to your big brothers and they just grab you and throw you into a car and you in the woods somewhere in a ditch, right? You're going to be scared out your mind, right? You would never expect that from your own family, right? I know, I never expected my mama or my daddy to drive me out to the wilderness and dig a hole and throw me in the hole. I never expected that, right? So if something like that happened to me, even with all the butt whoopings I got, I would be terrified. I'd be like, what is going on? What? This is my family, right? The level of betrayal. Imagine the level of betrayal he felt, right? Read.
And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt.
Read.
And Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood?
Okay, so he's like, well, hey, you know what? What is it really gonna profit us if we go ahead and we let Joseph die right here? We watch him die, and then we hide the fact that we did that, right? Read.
Come, and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content.
So Judah was like, you know what, guys? Even though it was my idea first to kill this little, you know what I'm saying? Even though I was like, hey, bro, man, let's go ahead and kill him, right? Even though we all collectively agreed, like, man, let's kill this little Negro right here, right? He was like, you know what, guys? Instead of doing this, because we're still killing him, like Reuben was like, oh yeah, let's not feed him to the beast. Let's go ahead and take the blood off our hands and throw him into a pit with no food or water. You're still killing him, right? You in fact, this is worse because he's slowly going to die. He is going to starve to death and either die from dehydration or starve to death, right? And that is a very painful experience, right? So Judah was like, he had a moment of clarity. He was like, I mean, it's still not good, but he was like, you know what? Let's throw him into slavery, because at least if he's a slave, he's still gonna be alive. He's still gonna have food. It might not be the best food. He's still gonna have shelter. It might not be the best shelter, but he's still gonna be alive, right? So get verse 38. I said 38, 28.
Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they brought Joseph into Egypt.
Hey, I just peeped this. Hey, these Midianites were opportunists, man. They had no part in this agreement. You know, first off, Judah was like, oh, you see those Ishmaelites over there? Oh, let's just go sell them to them. Somehow the Midianites came through. Oh, wait, hold on. You trying to make a sale? Hold on, let me get this little Negro. I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna make the sale for y'all, right? So some Midianites came through and grabbed Joseph out that pit and sold him to the Ishmaelites, right? For 20 pieces of silver, right? So Joseph was sent into captivity by his own brethren, by his own flesh and blood. You know, like imagine anybody that had, you know, big brothers or a big sister. Imagine your big sister is watching you. Your dad and your mama is out at work and they grab you and take you to the jungle. Or they grab you and they take you into a child work camp. Or they take you to Epstein Island and they send you off to Epstein Island. Your own kin sent you to Jeffrey Epstein, right? That's crazy. And that's the foundation I want to get. Let's get to verse 41 because we're still going on into this. Because I don't want people to forget that we're focusing on forbearing one another, right? We're focusing on what a brother that's born for adversity looks like. We're focusing on, you know, how to still continue a godly relationship with somebody that might have offended you, that might have wronged you, right? I don't know about y'all, but I'm pretty sure none of y'all got sent into slavery by your own, you know, siblings. And if you did, man, it's a wild ride. But I know for a fact, at least the people here, none of that ever happened to them, right? So when we get these small disagreements, when we get into small, you know, verbal altercations where we're not seeing eye to eye, we have to put into our minds like, well, you know what, even though I might not have liked what this brother done to me, you know, at least I wasn't sent and sold into captivity, right? This brother didn't sell me to captivity. I might be mad that he ate my food, but he ain't sell me into captivity, right? So let me go ahead and have patience with him. And again, it's all gonna come full circle. It's all gonna come full circle. He might have, you know, went ahead and he might have went ahead and cooked on the Sabbath, right? It's all gonna come full circle. Let's get Genesis 42 and verse 1.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 42 and verse 1. Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why
Well, actually, my bad. Get verse 56 and verse 41 first. Let's get that established.
Verse 56.
Yep.
Oh, and chapter 41.
Yep.
All right. chapter 41 and verse 56. And the famine was over all the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt.
Okay, so we're kind of fast forwarding because we'll be here all day. Joseph was given the position of ruler over Egypt because he was a dreamer. Like I said, he was the only one that was able to interpret the Pharaoh's dreams. And Joseph saw that the Most High had a famine set out for the land in the future. And because of Joseph's vision, Egypt was the only place on the face of the entire earth that still had provisions, right? So the entire earth was going to Egypt for provisions. Now we're going to verse 42 because, hey, guess what? The children of Jacob was hungry too. And they heard, there's food in Egypt.
Chapter 42 and verse 1. Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, Why do ye look one upon another? And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get ye down thither, and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die.
Okay, so he's like, hey, what are you guys doing sitting around just looking at each other? Can you go get some food so we don't die? What are y'all doing just sitting around, right? Verse 3.
And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren, for he said, Lest peradventure mischief befall him.
Okay, so Joseph's 10 brethren went out to Egypt, but they purposely left Benjamin. Joseph does not know Benjamin is even alive. He does not even know he had another brother, because when Joseph was sold into slavery, he was the youngest child. So he couldn't even grasp the concept of having a little brother, because he was the little brother, right? But guess what? This boy Benjamin, hey, Jacob was like, hey, don't send this boy too. I already lost one. I don't need to lose two, right? So Joseph's 10 brothers, the ones that was old, the ones that was established, went to go and get this corn for the family. Get verse 6.
And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him.
Wait, what did they do?
And bowed down themselves before him.
Now that vision that Joseph had, his brethren were going to make obeisance to him, right? They were going to bow down in front of him. Now his brothers were like, oh, look at that's so Raven coming around. Well, guess what? That's so Raven saw the future. Because now they bowing their heads to Joseph. And little do they know that's Joseph, right? You can't do nothing against the Most High, right? If the Most High says something will happen, it's going to happen, right? And look at what we see right here, right? His brothers went ahead and bowed down to him. Read.
With their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan, to buy food.
Okay, so you see, Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew immediately. He's like, oh, these are the same, people that went ahead and casted me into the dungeon, casted me into slavery, and hated me, right? He's looking at, imagine the emotion that he might be feeling in his chest right now, right? I know I would be like, oh yeah, y'all ain't getting anything, man. Yeah. And guess what? That's me. It's Joseph. Yeah, y'all thought I was nothing, right? And guess what? Y'all are bowing down. A lot of us would do that, right? A lot of us would get out the spirit and be like, oh, look, you said I was crazy. Well, guess what? I saw the future because your face is on the earth right now. And I'm the only one that can give you this bread, right? So imagine these emotions that Joseph might be feeling in his chest right now, right? Seeing the same brethren that sold him into slavery, the brethren that he just innocently loved, right? That my big brothers, right? The brothers that took advantage, of his love for them, right? Imagine seeing them again, right? And now you're in a position of ruler. Now you're in a position of authority over them. A lot of y'all wouldn't know how to act, right? Read.
And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, Ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land. Ye are come.
Read.
And they said unto him, Nay, my Lord, but to buy food are thy servants come.
Okay, so he seen them, and then he had a flashback. He said, "Hold on, dang, that's crazy. Look, they right here. I had a dream about this, that they was gonna be bowing down, and look at where they at right now, right? So now he's like, hey, man, yeah, these are some spies right here, man. You came to spy the land, right? And they're like, no, we came to buy food, right? Let's keep reading.
And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said, Thy servants are 12 brethren. Did I skip on?
No, you keep going.
12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not.
Keep reading.
And Joseph said unto them, That is it that I spake unto you, saying, Ye are spies.
Okay, so he's saying this because, again, Joseph didn't know that there was another brother. So they're saying, oh, yeah, but there's one that is yet with us, right? He's with our father. He's just like, what are you talking about, right? Read verse 15.
Hereby ye shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither.
Read.
Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh surely ye are spies.
Okay, so he's doing this on purpose because he wants to see his youngest brother. He's like, dang, I have a younger brother now? Oh, God, dang, that's crazy. I have to see him, right? So he was like, okay, hey, you guys are going to stay here. You guys are going to stay here, right? And only one of you guys can go out and fetch your brother and bring him back to me. And then I will see if you guys are spies or not, right? Let's go ahead and get verse 19.
If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye, carry corn for the famine of your houses. But bring your youngest brother unto me, so shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die. And they did so.
Okay, so like I said, he was like, all right, if you guys are telling the truth, one of you go ahead, bring that corn back here. I'll let you get the corn back to your house. But hey, bring that boy back, right? Bring your youngest brother, right? Let's go to verse 43, and I said 43. Let's go to chapter 43, excuse me, and verse 8.
Chapter 43 and verse 8. And Judah said unto Israel, his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and thou, and also our little ones.
So hey, they got families too. Hey, these sons of Jacob, they're adults now. They got children too. They got wives too. He's like, hey, dad, because guess what? Jacob was like, you are not sending this boy. He's like, look, if this boy is gone, you might as well not even come back and check on me, because I'm gonna be dead. If this boy dies too, I might as well go too, right? Jacob was not having that. But Judah Judah was like, hey, look, father, I'll take the responsibility. I'll take the blame. Hey, send a lad with me, right? So that we can at least go and get bread. Because guess what? We ran out of food, father, and we need more food. The only way we can go back there is if we bring the boy, right? So let's go ahead and get the next verse.
I will be surety for him. Of my hand shalt thou require him. If I bring him not unto thee and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever.
Read.
For except we had lingered, surely now we had returned this second time. And their father Israel said unto them, If it must be so now, do this. Take of the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm, and a little honey, spices, and myrrh, nuts, and almonds. And take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks. carry it again in your hand. Peradventure, it was an oversight.
Okay, so when he's saying, and after you take the best fruits of the land, take double the money and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, you see, Joseph returned the money back to them. So they came to purchase corn. Joseph gave them the corn and put the money back in the sack of corn without telling them. So as they were going back home, they're like, oh, yeah, we got food. Oh, snap. Why is the money back in here? So, they were freaking out. They're like, oh, no, why is the money back in here, right? And that was another reason why they were like, hey, we ain't going back. Because one, he's gonna want Benjamin, and two, it's gonna look like we stole this, right? So they were scared. That's why Jacob said, here, take double the money, right? And the money that was brought in the mouth of the sack, in case it was an oversight, in case they're like, they allow you to get away with that. Like, oh, look, here you go. Here's the money that you guys brought back, and here's double the payment for this next bag of corn, right? Let's go ahead and get verse 15 now.
And the men took the present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph.
Read.
And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, bring these men home and slay and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon.
Okay, so if any of you are confused, or he said bring these men home and slay, he's not saying, kill them, right? And he's not saying slay queen, right? When he's saying bring these men home and slay, he's like bring these men home and prepare dinner for them, right? Kill the ox, kill the gazelle, kill whatever we got in the cattle ranch, and prepare dinner for these people, right? So that's why he said, hey, bring these men home, slay and make ready. For, hey, guess what? They're gonna dine with me at this time. They're gonna eat with me, right? Read.
And the man did as Joseph bade.
Well, actually, give verse 19.
Verse 19. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, O sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack. Our money was full in weight, and we have brought it again in our hand.
Okay, get up verse 23.
Verse 23. And he said, peace be to you. Fear not, your God and the God of your father have given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them.
Okay, so no, it's all good. So you see, he was like, no, it's cool. I ain't tripping about that. I gave that to y'all, right? Your God gave y'all that money, right? I ain't tripping about that money, right? Let's go to verse 26 now.
Verse 26. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present, which was in their hand, into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth.
What did they do?
Bowed themselves to him to the earth.
So again, making obeisance to him. Read.
And he asked them of their welfare, and said, is your father well, the old man whom you spake? Is he yet alive? And they answered, thy servant, our father, is in good health. He is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance.
Again, man, I bet they neck is hurting. All the times they've been bowing down to Joseph, and they ridiculed him for this vision, right? When he was a little boy, they ridiculed him. They bullied him, right? It said that they hated him, and they had nothing good to say about Joseph. Whenever Joseph was around, they always spake evil of him, right? And guess what? This little boy that loved his brothers so much, that looked up to his brothers, got sent into slavery. Excuse me, I'm fumbling on my words. I'm so excited. He had to spend his whole entire rest of his childhood and the beginning of his adult life, shoveling doo-doo, right? Cleaning up after the captain of Egypt, right? And then getting persecuted and getting lied to by the captain's wicked wife because he didn't want to sleep with her. And now he's in prison, in the dungeon, and then he had to, from that dungeon, through the grace of the Most High, was able to crawl into the Pharaoh's seat. Do you know how hard that is? right? Do you know how arduous of a journey he had to go through, right? So he's coming and he's seeing his brothers now, the same brothers that casted him away, right? And guess what? He hasn't seen his father in forever. So that's the first thing he's gonna say. Oh well, that father that you spake about, is he alive? Because he's hoping that his father's still alive, right? Read.
And he lifted up his eyes, and he saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother of whom ye spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son.
Read.
And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother, and he sought where to weep, and he entered into his chamber and wept there.
Yeah, so like imagine holding all that in, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, for years, for decades, you know what I'm saying? You've been living as a slave. You've been living as, as a bottom feeder for decades. And you finally, from the grace of the Most High, made it to the seat of the Pharaoh. And now you see these same people that caused all that pain and trauma to you. But guess what? You didn't know that you had another brother, right? That whole time you was suffering, there was another child, another little brother that you could have had, that you could have spent time with, that you ain't get to spend time with, right? So when he got to see Benjamin for the first time, he almost cried right there on the spot. That's why he had to run and go find a spot to cry, because they would have been confused. They would have been like, why is the Lord of Egypt crying of seeing this little boy? Why is he so like impactful right now when he's seeing our little brother, right? So Joseph was like, all right, let me get up out of here, because the waterworks is about to come through. Read verse 31.
And he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, Set on bread.
All right, so now let's go to chapter 44 and read verse 1.
Chapter 44, verse 1. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, Fill the men's sack with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth. And they put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth, and of the youngest in his corn of money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken.
Okay, so he was like, yeah, go ahead and make sure that their sacks is filled with food, as much as they can carry, fill it to the brim, right? And he also put every man's money back in the sack, right? But in verse 2, he also put his cup in the sack, his silver sack, or I said silver sack, excuse me, his silver cup, right? What's the purpose of this? Let's get verse 3.
As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their asses. And when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, Up, follow after the men, and when thou dost overtake them, say unto them, Whenceforth have ye rewarded evil for good?
Okay, so Joseph set them up now, right? I bet he was like, man, y'all set me up, I'm gonna set y'all up, right? Because in his mind, he was just gonna take Benjamin. He was like, because think about it, these are the people that caused you this great trauma, right? In his mind, he probably like, man, F these Negroes, man. But you know what? This boy right here, Benjamin, you didn't have no part in that sin, right? And I want to get to know you. I haven't seen you my whole life, my little brother, right? I would be that way if I had a little brother I didn't know about. I'd be like, whoa, hold on, I need to get to know you, right? That's the spirit that Joseph has. So he set them up to create a situation where he can take Benjamin for himself. How do I know this is true? Let's get verse 7.
Verse 7. And they said unto him, Wherefore saith my Lord these words? God forbid that thy servant should do according to this thing. Behold, the money which we found in our sacks' mouths, we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of the Lord's house silver or gold?
Go to verse 11.
Verse 11. Then they speedily took down every man of his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. And he searched, and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack.
Okay, so hey, he was like, the sons of Jacob was like, look, we came to you and even gave you back the money that you gave back to us, because we thought we stole it from you. So how can you say that we went ahead and stole from you now, right? So the officers went ahead and searched all their sacks, and guess what? The cup was found in Benjamin's sack, right? So let's keep reading.
Then they rent their clothes and laid every man his ass and returned to the city. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, What deed is this that ye have done? What ye not that such a man as I can certainly divine? And Judah said, What shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? God hath found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and he also with whom the cup is found.
Okay, so he's like, well, shoot, like, how can we even clear our name? Look, we are in your hands right now, right? Read.
And he said, God forbid that I should do so, but the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get up in peace unto your father.
Okay, so originally, Joseph was just, like I said, he was probably like, man, F you Negroes, I don't care about y'all. But then he heard about Benjamin. He was like, oh, wait, hold on. Let me see this boy. He saw Benjamin. He almost cried right there on the spot. He's like, you know what? I got to spend time with my brother, right? I got to have him, right? He has to be right next to me. This is the brother that could possibly love me, right? Because he's probably also like, man, like my brothers didn't love me, right? They hated me. Now he sees a brother that he could possibly have that relationship that he never got to have with his brothers, right? So Joseph is setting up a situation to where he can have Benjamin, right? But let's see what's the issue with this. Let's go to verse 18.
Verse 18. Then Judah came near unto him and said, O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ear, and let not thy anger burn against thy servant, for thou art even as Pharaoh.
Read.
My Lord asked his servants, saying, Have ye a father or a brother? And when he said unto my Lord, We have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. And thou saidest unto thy servants, Bring him down unto me, that I may set my eyes upon him.
Verse 23.
Verse 23. And thou saidest unto thy servants, Except your youngest brother come down with you, ye shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came up unto thy servant, my father, we told him the words of my Lord. And our father said, Go again, and buy us a little food. And we said, We cannot go down. If our youngest brother be with us, then we will go down. For we may not see the man's face, except our youngest brother be with us. And thy servant, my father, said unto us, Ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons, and the one went out from me. And I said, Surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. And if ye take this also from me, and mischief befall him, ye shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave.
Okay, so he's like, hey, look, you guys know that I had two sons from Rachel, right? You guys know that I had 2 sons from this woman. And one of them is probably died. I don't know. The wolves probably got him, right? And this is the only one I have left. This is the only boy from her that I have left. Now, if he's taken from me, I'm gonna be so stressed that I'm gonna die, right? And Judah is trying to tell Joseph this, like, hey, look, we are your servants. You are our Lord. But look, if this little boy here does not return back to our father is gonna die. Our father said he won't even try to be alive, right? And we don't want to see that, right? So again, before Judah even said all of this, Joseph was like, man, F you Negroes, right? Because he was done wrong. He has something traumatic happen to him. And yeah, I would feel that way too. But again, do you want a community, right? Do you want a family? Do you want to really have a cohesive community? Do you really want to have that godly nation? Because sometimes you might have to get over something that happened to you for the benefit of everybody else, right? Again, it's like what I said earlier, right? A lot of people are diamonds in the rough that can only be polished by somebody else. When this whole situation went on, this ended up bringing out Judah's, This ended up bringing out Judah's leadership quality, right? And it showed how noble he was, right? Because Judah wanted Joseph dead with the rest of them, right? But at the end of the day, it was Judah that put his life on the line for the life of his brother. You gotta think about it. Judah growed from that experience with Joseph, right? Because Judah was willing to let his little brother die. But now he's like, no, take me instead. Because look, this little boy right here means everything to my father. And I don't want to see my father hurt again, right? And this is a moment for Joseph to grow. Because Joseph right now, he's feeling all these, visceral emotions. I know he's feeling them, right? It's burning up his chest, right? But is he willing to look past his own self, right, for the benefit of his family? This is the crossroads that we come into. This is what we're seeing right now. This is a live example, right? And this is what really happened, right? Get verse 32.
Verse 32. For thy servant became surety for the land unto my father, saying, if I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad, a bondman to my lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren.
Okay, so guess what? Joseph is seeing a whole different Judah, right? Because the Judah that Joseph always seen was the a-hole Judah, right? Was the Judah that always put him down, was the Judah that never had anything good to say. I'm pretty sure after he got sold into slavery, Joseph couldn't ever imagine his brothers doing something noble. But right now he's seeing Judah's growth, because right now he's seeing Judah saying, please, take my life for the lad. Take my life instead, right? Something that he never seen before, right? And guess what? Get chapter 45 and verse 1. This is what this did to Joseph.
Chapter 45 and verse 1. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried.
You see, he broke down because he's like, dang, I still had all this hatred, right? I still had all this malice. I still had all this, I still had all this rumbling, you know what I'm saying, in my chest for my brothers, right? And I was ready. I knew I was right. I knew they was going to bow down to me because God sent me that vision. I knew God sent me that vision, right? I knew it. I could see the future, and I was waiting for this moment so I can tell these Negroes to get going, right? I was waiting for this moment. But even in this moment right now, where he see the growth of his brother, where he's seen the growth of Judah and how noble he became, he broke down. He said, dang, I can't do this, because if I go ahead and take this boy, right, he just told me that my father will die. So am I willing to let my father die? Am I willing to mess up my family for my own selfish desire, right? Joseph came at a crossroads right there. Again, Colossians 3:13, forbearing one another and forgiving one another as Christ forgave you, right? You got to imagine, Christ has forgiven us, and our fathers had whipped him, spat in his face, you know what I'm saying, made him carry this big, heavy-ass wooden cross. Who knows how long? It had to be miles. He was carrying this big-ass cross, right? And then he went ahead, got hanged, and he had a second chance, right? Pilate was like, okay, look, I'm gonna ask you Negroes again, because I don't see nothing wrong with this guy. Do you want this murderer to live, Or do you want this guy that hasn't did anything to die? They were like, yeah, kill that Negro, right? Christ still forgave us for that, right? And Joseph still forgave his brothers, even after getting sent into slavery, even after having to scrape the bottom of the bottom, right? He got put in this position where he could literally banish them, right? Send them away. But now it's time for Joseph to grow. You see that? When you actually do these commandments, when you actually forbear, when you actually forgive, you grow, right? You're not going to grow if you never make a mistake, right? How are you ever going to learn? The greatest fighters, Floyd Mayweather, undefeated record, right? 50-0. We all know this, right? But a lot of people don't know that Floyd came short at the Olympics, right? Floyd was fighting to win gold at the Olympics, and he came second. And he broke down and he cried. But ever since that loss, he never lost again. Do you see this? You have to fall first. No one ever talks about how Floyd didn't win the Olympics because we all just talk about how he was undefeated in his professional career. That's all we know, right? That only happened after Floyd made a mistake, and Floyd grew from that. So when your brother makes a mistake towards you, when your sister makes a mistake towards you, that's an opportunity for growth right there, for you guys both to grow, right? But if you never give your brother that mercy, that patience, if you never give him that chance, that growth will never happen. And we will just stay as a sinful nation that's scattered, that has no unity, that has no love for one another, that has no charity for one another, and we just look crazy to all the other nations because we are our own worst enemy. That's what's going to happen if we don't do this, right? And that's what would have happened to the sons of Jacob if Joseph had that spirit that's in our brothers right now. That malice, that hatred, right? That get back, as we always say. Joseph could have got his get back, but he saw something bigger than that. He saw his family. He saw cohesion, right? Let's go to verse 3.
Verse 3. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence.
Now imagine it, man. They like, we seeing a ghost right now. They're like, oh snap, this Negro's alive. He was alive and he's the king of Egypt. The guy we was bowing down to. They had a loss for words right now. They're like, oh snap, right? This is all real emotion right here. This is what I love about the scriptures. You seeing real emotion. You seeing real people, right? This isn't Harry Potter. This is stuff that really happened. These are real things that go on through our bodies, that go on through our minds. That's why it's here as an example for us. So we can have something to base, these commandments off of. So we can have something to base this faith off of, right? Let's get verse 4.
And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither. For God did send me before you to preserve life.
Now you see that? He said, now look, don't be sad. Don't feel guilty. Don't go ahead and beat yourself up over it. Because look, because you guys sent me to those Ishmaelites, I ended up in Egypt. And I ended up becoming the servant of this great captain in Egypt. And even when I was casted into prison for slander, the Most High still brought me up to a point where I was the only person that had a solution for the Pharaoh's problem. And this solution was so great that I became the head seat of Egypt. Look, everything that you guys did was so I could be in this position to help you. You see that? A lot of times, in order for us to deal with each other, we have to put ourselves in uncomfortable positions so that we can grow, right? A lot of us aren't willing to help another person if it comes at the expense of an inconvenience, right? Would we say that Joseph had the biggest inconvenience? Being sold into slavery? Anything could have happened to Joseph, right? We see what happens to those kids with the Epstein files. Anything happened to those kids because what they was sold unto them, or they were just taken. Most of them were just taken, But a lot of those kids, believe it or not, were sold unto them, right? And they were doing all kinds of things to these children. That could have happened to Joseph, right? But hey, Joseph was like, look, that whole experience actually made me better. That whole experience made me a better person. And look, that experience made you a better person because of the guilt that you felt. Because guess what? Emotions are the devil, right? So whenever you feel something and you act on that emotion, Satan is in the driver's seat and he's putting that gas pedal maxing the dash, right? When that car crashes, Satan's gonna hop out, look at you all messed up in the crash, like, damn, you bleeding out. Well, I did what I had to do. And he's gonna walk away, right? The only person left in that driver's seat is gonna be Christ. Now Christ is gonna be in the driver's seat. Now look what happened to you, right? I told you don't let him get behind the wheel. What they say? Jesus take the wheel? I was trying to tell you to let me take the wheel, right? But you wanted to go ahead and act on your emotions. Now look at the damage that you caused, right? If Joseph acted on his emotions, we wouldn't even be here. None of us would be here right now because the children of Israel would have died from famine. They all would have died from famine if Joseph decided to be selfish, if Joseph decided not to put himself in an inconvenient position for him to, you know what? I know I feel these emotions and I know they're visceral right now, but they're just emotions. Because at the end of the day, I have the knowledge of God. And with the knowledge of God, I can see that everything that took place was all in his will. And because it was all in his will, it wasn't my brothers that sent me to slavery. It wasn't my brothers that hated me, because this was all things that needed to happen to get me here so I can become the man that I am today. Right? So, and you know what? Hey, man, I'm speaking out of turn. My bad. Let's get verse 7.
Verse 7. And God sent me before you to preserve you a prosperity in the earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance.
Read.
So now it was not you that sent me hither, but God. And he hath made me a father to Pharaoh, and Lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt.
So he's like, hey, like I said, it wasn't you that did that to me. It was God. So Joseph had to come to that understanding too. And I'm pretty sure he was thinking about that when he was in that prison cell, just thirsty, just like, dang, why did they send me here? But I'm pretty sure Joseph had that moment where he's like, you know what? At the end of the day, it's all in the Lord's will, right? He's the reason why I'm here. And because Joseph had that faith and never gave up on the Most High, never thought the Most High was evil for putting him in that situation, the Most High blessed him with the greatest position that any man could have at that time. The seat of Pharaoh. Egypt was the superpower at the time, right? Egypt was America. Imagine a Negro, imagine Xavier being the president, right? None of us can imagine that, right? That's what happened to Joseph, okay? And this all came from the series of events that unfolded. You got to understand that these odds that you'll have with a brother, these bad times that will happen, these bad times are happening so that you guys can both grow, so that you guys could apply the scriptures. Joseph applied Colossians 3:13, did he not? Did Joseph not apply Colossians 3:13? Did Joseph not restore his brethren like in Galatians 6:2? He restored them, right? These are things that happen when you apply these laws. And because Joseph did that, the Israelites thrived and we became mighty, right? Let's go to verse 10.
Verse 10. And thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks, and thy herds, and all that thou hast. And there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household and all that thou hast come to poverty.
Okay, so he's like, and I will nourish you there because look, there's going to be 5 more years of famine, right? And hey, he's like, look, like I will be there with you unless we magically become poor, right? I will be there with you and I will still nourish you. I will still feed you. I will still take care of you, right? Because even though we had odds, even though I might have snitched on you when I was a kid and I told daddy on you, right? Even though y'all sent me into slavery and I was the less of the less, I was the less of the least, right? Look at where we're at right now, right? You know what? Bring all your family, all your wives, all your children. Bring them over here, and they're gonna be with my wives and my children, and we're gonna be back a cohesive community, right? And the Israelites, the land of Goshen was the best place to be in Egypt. So much so that the new Pharaoh was looking at Goshen and was like, why do these Negroes have more than us? And they're in our country, right? Just like how the fake Jews have more than all the Americans in America. Why is that, right? Because, hey, those are the people that are chosen at that time, right? Let's get Matthew 18 and 22. I want to close out with this scripture because the Colossians 3:13 plan for bearing one another, right? Like I said, that first four scriptures in the Colossians plan is extremely deep because you can really go a lot into unity. You can really go a lot into how to forgive and how to forbear one another. And there's going to be many times, I'm telling you, there's going to be many times if you're dealing with people in the truth, there's going to be many times where you're going to have a ought. It's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in this church knows that, I came in with Brother Sean. Me and Brother Sean, that's my homie, right? But me and Brother Sean had many disagreements, right? There was many times where me and Brother Sean didn't see eye to eye, right? But through those situations, not only was we able to grow, but we was able to understand each other better. So you got to understand that these times where it comes to where you might have to be in a position to forgive, just know it's for growth, right? And you must always be willing to forgive. So go ahead and get Matthew 18 and 22.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 22. Jesus saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times.
Oh, wait, my bad. Let's get verse 21.
Verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times?
Okay, so he's like, hey, so man, you telling me that being in this truth, I'm gonna have people that I might not see eye to eye. I'm gonna have instances where I might have to forgive somebody for a trespass they commit against me. So Lord, how many times do I have to do that? Like at the 7th time, can I just say F him and keep it pushing? What did Christ say?
Jesus said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.
Okay, so he's not literally saying, okay, 70 times 7, that's as much chances that you have. No, he's saying that to say like there is no cap on that number, right? You are all going to fall short of me and the Father, right? That's why I came here in this flesh, in this same body, to show y'all why I'm so much better than all of you. Because only I can be in this flesh and be blameless, right? So the same level of compassion and understanding I have for y'all, y'all better have that towards each other. Because I could have erased all of y'all when y'all was in Hebron, making that golden calf. I could have killed all of y'all, but I chose not to. So when your brother ate your Pop-Tart, right? When your brother might have called you a mean word, when your brother might have said your forehead was big, let it slide. Talk to that brother, be like, hey, bro, I don't appreciate that. And again, you have to do it in meekness, right? Because if I come to Brother Xavier, like, hey, what's up, man? What you said my forehead was big. What's up? Right? What you think Xavier's gonna do? Xavier's gonna get his hands up, like, all right, oh yeah, he's trying to fight me. All right, let me get my hands up, right? But if I'm like, hey, bro, can I talk to you real quick? Hey, yeah, when you made that comment about my forehead, I really don't appreciate that. I really don't, I struggle with that, bro. He's going to be like, oh, damn, my bad, bro. I ain't even know that, right? And then guess what? Now Xavier learned something about me. And at the same time, I learned something about Xavier. I learned I can talk to him. I learned, hey, you know what? If I do have something that bothers me, I can tell Xavier about it. And he's not going to flip out on me. He's not going to crash out, right? That's how we need to be with each other. The first step in the Colossians 3:13 plan is having mercy and patience towards one another, is being able to be tolerant of one another. Because if we don't do that, if we can't understand that, how can we go ahead and execute thou shalt not steal, right? How can we execute, okay, so you stole from me, you have to pay me back the fifth part, right? How can we exercise that if I don't even want to deal with you no more, right? How can we exercise these laws that is made in place? You got to understand, we have all these laws because, again, God knows that we're dumb. And he knows that we're going to do dumb-ish. So he's like, okay, well, look, if, all right, let's go. So if a brother goes ahead and steals from you, all right, go to the church, go to the elders and everything. Make sure that brother pays you back the fifth part. You know what? Well, he stole from you with that fifth part. That's how it's going to be rectified, right? Okay, so so you went ahead and you slept with the sister. All right, let's go. Article 43, Site B says, thou shalt surely endow her to be her wife. Exodus 21:16. All right, so it looks like you got to go ahead and marry her, bro. So these are the things that are set in place that the Most High did because he knew we was going to have odds with one another. He knew we was going to do stupid things to each other. But if we aren't willing to first be ready to forgive and hear our brother and sisters out, then how can we really grow? And that's all I got right here. This is part 1 of the Colossians 3:13 recap. Lord's will, in part 2, we can actually go into the rest of the plan, and it won't take a long time. So yeah, Lord's will. Y'all enjoyed the lesson. How it felt to leave my kids for 12 months was a sick feeling in my stomach. So I know our ancestors really had to be, man, for real, leave the part. You gotta think about it too. Like there was no cell phones back then. There was no social media. So when your kid was gone, they was gone. Like you didn't know what was going on. That's why Jacob, he said, man, if you take Benjamin and he's gone, I'm gonna die. Because I already know my first son probably got eaten by bulls or something, or eaten by lions. So you take my second son, I don't even know what's gonna happen. But hey, for real, and that's why these things are in the scriptures. Because like what you said, you can resonate with that feeling. Because you're like, you know what? Yeah, I had to leave my kids for a year being in the army. And you know what? Yeah, I would feel the same thing too. That's why I'm saying I love this book. Because all these examples in this book are from real people. These are real instances that happened. These are real altercations that took place, right? So, again, the Colossians 3:13 plan, Lord's will, y'all was edified. Lord's will, y'all enjoyed the lesson. Hey, I'm sorry, Sister Kim. Like I said, I'm gonna go back to the dojo. I'm gonna memorize these buttons on these sound bites. But hey, I'm glad y'all enjoyed the lesson. Lord's will, y'all enjoy the rest of your Sabbath. Oh, my bad. Do you have anything for us, Brother Xavier? Okay, well, shoot. I'll go ahead and I'll close out the lesson. Y'all have a good Sabbath. Shalom, Israel.